What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. Our 2023 predictions continue with TCU. TCU, a team that surprised everyone last year, of course, making it to the college football playoff. And I think most people expect them to drop back off and have, a much more average season this year. I don't know that that's going to be the case, though. When you look at this team, I think they actually have a chance to be really good again. Here are some of those other predictions. So the FPI, they've got this team around 8-4. Athlon has them at 8-4. The over/under is at 7.5, meaning Vegas thinks the most likely record for TCU is either 7-5 or 8-4. I definitely think they're more likely to go 9-3 than 7-5. You look at this team, and you look at the schedule first of all, especially the first half of their schedule is not too bad. But you look at this team, and remember, Chandler Morris he won the starting quarterback job. He was going to be the starter last year ahead of Max Duggan before he got hurt. This is a veteran quarterback, a talented quarterback that should be able to step in here and have a big year, assuming he's healthy. I know they lost some big-time playmakers on offense, but they used the transfer portal. They added some pieces there. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year, but still, with Sonny Dykes, you expect this offense to be explosive, an offense that is going to be good. And then you look at the defense, especially the back seven and especially the secondary. This has a chance to be maybe the best secondary in the Big 12 this year. They're absolutely loaded back there. This is going to be a good defense. So this is going to be a good TCU team, in my opinion. And I don't understand how you could put them even possibly at 7-5. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think this team is going to be good once again. So here is that schedule. And again, take a look at the first part of the schedule. Colorado, Nicholls, Houston, SMU, West Virginia, Iowa State, BYU. Those 7 games, TCU is going to be favored in all 7 of them. Yes, the final 5 games are really tough. They definitely have a very tough schedule there down the stretch. But you look at this first half, it's very manageable. It starts with Colorado on September 2nd. So this is a game that'll be interesting, of course, with Deion Sanders coming into Colorado, looking to change things. And I honestly don't think this game will be close. I think Colorado, they're going to be better this year. Their roster is upgraded, but this is their very first game with Deion Sanders as the head coach, and so many new faces it's like a totally different roster. They're not going to be ready for a game like this. At TCU, I don't think this game is going to be close at all. TCU, I think, wins big, and then I think they also beat Nicholls. So I've got them starting 2-0 before a road game against Houston on September 16th. This game more than likely will be close. It's just how it works in the Big 12. I know Houston is new to the Big 12, but usually these games wind up being pretty close. TCU is definitely the better team. Playing on the road, though, this will be tricky. This will not be an easy win. I think TCU, though, as long as Chandler Morris can step up and make plays for them, they're going to find a way to get it done. So I think they win a close one against Houston and move to 3-0. Then they'll play SMU on the 23rd, a home game. This one will be interesting as well. I think TCU does take care of business here. Another fairly close game, but I think they'll win it by about 10, and I think they get to 4-0. West Virginia up next. Home game for TCU again. A West Virginia team that's going to want to run the football. They're going to want to kind of slow the pace down, kind of opposite of TCU. Definitely a mix of styles here going at it. But I think TCU is just, again, playing at home. They're just too good. They're going to win this game as well. And I don't see any reason why they would not be 5-0 after the month of September. Iowa State comes up on October the 7th. This is going to be a tough one. Very tough place to play. Iowa State was really young last year. They should be improved this year, but still, if you look at their overall roster, it's well behind a team like TCU. So I don't think TCU loses, but I do think it's a scare. I think it's a close game, probably a 4-quarter, 1-possession type game, but TCU gets the win, and I think they improve to 6-0. Next up, BYU on October the 14th, home game for TCU. BYU, they've added a lot of guys in the transfer portal. It's going to be a much different team. Keaton Slovis, of course, takes over at quarterback. It'll be really interesting to see what this BYU team looks like. Again, playing at home, though, I have a hard time picking against TCU. This game's probably pretty close, but TCU gets another win, and they improve to 7-0 before a rematch of the Big 12 championship from last year. It's TCU Kansas State on October 21st. They'll be playing in Manhattan, Kansas in this one. A revenge game for TCU. Can they come out and get a win here? I think it'll be a good one. I think it'll be a really big game. A game that possibly determines who goes to the Big 12 championship. And so, yeah, I think this one will be big. This is a tough one for me to pick, though. Again, you've got the revenge factor for TCU. I think TCU has a more overall roster talent. Kansas State, they're probably the best coach team in the Big 12. And they're going to have home field advantage. So this one was one that I struggled with. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Kansas State because they're playing at home. I think they get the win. TCU drops to 7-1. Then they'll play Texas Tech on November 2nd. They get a bye week after this one, or after Kansas State. This one will be a weeknight game, so this will be a fun one here. But Texas Tech's going to be really good this year as well, and I think it's going to be back-to-back losses for TCU. Two really tough road games here. I think they lose both of them and drop to 7-2, and that really ends any discussion of them getting back to the college football playoff. But still, you get to October 21st, still undefeated. They're going to be right there in the top 10. But playing Texas here on November 11th, we've already done our Texas predictions, so we talked about that game there. I just feel like Texas is going to lose a couple of games that they probably should win. I think Texas is the better team here, but I don't think the margin is that wide. I think, again, TCU is a talented team. Their secondary is going to be a really favorable matchup against these Texas wide receivers. So I think it's a good matchup for TCU. Texas, if they can get the run game going, they'll have a good chance. So it's one that's tough to pick. But playing at home, I think TCU pulls off the upset. They get the win over Texas after back-to-back losses. Then they get Baylor at home on the 18th. This will be a good one here, probably similar to the West Virginia game. One where Baylor's going to probably try to run the football a lot, slow the game down a little bit. TCU, though, I think will make the plays when they need to. They'll find a way to get it done at home, and they get another big win, get to 9-2. Then they'll play Oklahoma on the 24th. I tell you what, this Oklahoma defense was not good last year, but I'm expecting a lot of improvement this year, especially in that pass rush. If you look at what they added in the transfer portal, that you can tell that's what Brent Venables wanted to add this year. He wants to have a better pass rush. I think they're going to have that. I think the offense will be really good, really explosive. You know, it's the run game for Oklahoma that could possibly give TCU some problems because, again, I think TCU is going to have a really good secondary. So I think this will be a great matchup, a shootout. I think that Oklahoma pass rush makes a big play late in the game. They find a way to get it done, and then again, they lean on that run game. Oklahoma at home gets the win over TCU. So I do have this team losing 3 games, but it wouldn't shock me if they go 10-2, if they beat Kansas State or Texas Tech or even Oklahoma, and they get to 10-2. But of course, they could also lose to Texas. I feel like these 3 games are potential losses, and then you have Texas, and then maybe there's an upset in there. Houston, Iowa State on the road. I just feel like they're going to lose 3 games. So with this schedule, I think 9-3 is going to be the record for TCU. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Give me your thoughts and give me your predictions down in the comments below.